Hello, my name is Mosam, and I'm on this amazing journey in the hotel business for the last 2 decades in the area of sales and marketing. You may visit my LinkedIn page to know more about me. In the earlier part, we had covered details about how do we approach with the correct market segmentation for different types of hotels by taking different examples. Now that was the part 2 of this entire series, and if you have not watched the part 1 and part 2, please go and finish them for continuity. We're now going to start with the part 3 on market segmentation. So here we go.
In this session, we will cover the following topics. How is pricing decided for B2B segments? How do we handle pricing and margins for intermediaries? And a brief understanding of the wholesale pricing structure. The retail rate of a hotel is decided based on various factors. Quality of product, the price value proposition on offer, comparable benchmarks or brands in the market, seasonality of business, demand over weekday and weekends, high demand in the area due to compression caused by events, auspicious dates, school holidays, large conventions, etc. Let us discuss this further with an example of a type 2 hotel that we discussed in part 2 of this series. This hotel has decided to price themselves at 10,000 for a period. We have taken an example of this hotel since it has a lot of segments operating. First thing to note, everything ties into the retail price. The retail price of the hotel is the minimum displayed rate of a certain room category on their own website. This rate is available to be booked through the hotel website as well as if you call the hotel directly. For example, if Mr. X calls the hotel and asks for a room reservation and inquires about the price, the hotel staff attending the call will announce the price as 10,000 rupees. The same rate will also be displayed on all third-party booking systems such as Booking.com, MMT, etc. Even if Mr. X calls his travel agency to book a room at this type 2 hotel, he will announce the price as 10,000. Both the offline agency and online agency gets a commission from the hotel if they book a room and the guest pays and stay. This commission is ideally 10%, but could be varied based on the volumes that these channels provide to a particular hotel or a chain overall. This is how it should ideally be. That's called rate parity. In case this system is distorted and there are different rates available between these three channels, then it's for the revenue and distribution manager to identify the problem and fix it. Now, large corporates who have big volumes of room requirement in a certain city tend to sign a volume guaranteed rate agreement with the hotel. In such a case, the hotel provides a discount to the corporate against the committed volume. After all, who doesn't want to have secured, visible, or qualified business? For wholesalers, the hotels have to offer a much higher margin, anywhere between 20 to 25% and sometimes even higher. Now, this rate is never available to the direct consumer. This is a complete B2B channel rate given to package multiple products to be sold as a bundle. The bundle could have services such as sightseeing, flights, transportation, hotels in other destinations, etc. Let's understand this better in the next slide. Suppose I am a wholesale company based in Kerala and my company name is Mosam Holiday Company or MHC in short. Since my business is to get tourists from anywhere in the world to Kerala, I am also called a DMC or a destination marketing company. Let's see how I create a product. I am creating a package which comprises of 2 night stay at Munnar including breakfast, 1 night stay in Alleppey houseboat including all meals, 2 night stay in Thekadi including breakfast, 1 night stay in Kochi including breakfast, a car available to pick and drop to Kochi airport and will stay through the tour, a guide for local sightseeing at Kochi, Munnar and Thekadi. Remember, MHC may not own any of these products. He is just creating a package by taking these elements from the respective hotels and transport companies. Now, let's assume that the retail price of these products are as follows. For Munnar Hotel 2 nights 10,000, For Alleppey Houseboat a night, 10,000. For Thekri Hotel for 2 nights, 10,000. Car for 7 days, 25,000. 3 separate guides in Kochi, Munnar and Thekri, 5,000. So the total cost is about 60,000 rupees. MHC gets to get a price of 46,500 from these hotels and travel companies. So I convinced the hotel and transport owners of my intent that they agree to provide me a price at a 20 to 25% discount. Now, what's my intent? My intent is to get tourists from UK into Kerala. I have developed good connections with a wholesaler based in London. This company is called, for example, ABC UK Company or AUC. And he tells me that he has a lot of retail agents asking for packages to Kerala. With a lot of road shows, advertising done by the state and central tourism bodies with DMCs like us to promote destination Kerala, there's a lot of interest in UK nationals to travel to Kerala. So the consumers are constantly requesting their retail travel agencies on package costs, flight options, etc. Now MHC approaches this big wholesaler of holiday packages based in London, like I mentioned, AUC. MHC has taken net rates from the hotels, houseboat and the transporter. So he marks up the package price by 7.5% and offers it to AUC for, let's say, 50,000 rupees approximately. AUC has a lot of retail travel agents connected with him, which has spread all over UK. So AUC sends a communication to them about the package he has. AUC adds another 7.5% margin to the package and sends all details of the package with a price of 53,800 to his retail network. Thus, all UK retailers connected to wholesaler AUC now receives this package at a price of 53,800. At this stage, it is impossible for them to dissect the elements of the package and assign an individual price to each element. Elements here mean the individual hotel, houseboat, transport which is packaged. However, they need to get a sense on what would be an approximate retail price of the product if the elements were to be separated. Their research shows that it could be about 60,000 rupees. So now they have a package which provides them with an 11% margin from the retail price. And they may decide to sell this package to the consumer with anywhere between a 5 to 10% margin. On top of this, once the customer has decided to travel, the retail agency may be required to book flight tickets, arrange visa, forex, etc. too. The DMC in Kerala, which is MHC in this case, will be responsible to provide service to coordinate all aspects of the committed package when the customer travels. Thus, the margin offered on room rate to wholesale business creates avenues for a requisite markup and then starts a new channel of destination travel altogether. Without this channel, customers would have to do the research, book and coordinate the itinerary themselves, and many would have chosen against it. There would be less volume of travel as they would have chosen to stay away from long-haul destinations needing complex planning. Remember, retail travel agencies are also big influencers of the business. Since they interact with their customer on a regular basis, they can also influence on which destinations to travel next to. This pricing example does not take into consideration any taxes applicable. It's just to make you understand the pricing model. And I hope I have been able to make it clear to you that when is the wholesale business applicable for what kind of hotels and how does it add value to the overall system. Now let's understand group pricing. There are some key elements one needs to consider for group pricing. Some of them are weekday, weekend seasonality, CD demand due to large events on the same dates, displacement of transient business at a certain price point, size of group and length of stay, lead time of inquiry, meaning how far is the check-in date from the inquiry date, payment plan, is the payment going to be all upfront or staggered advance, opportunity of other revenues from the group such as dining, banqueting, etc. This helps to determine the total revenue potential of the business. Any other per diem ceilings of pricing that may be applicable. For example, a hotel with a city center location which traditionally sees a dip in occupancy from Thursday to Sunday may actively want group business of a certain size staying over 2 to 3 nights to stabilize their weekend occupancy. Thus, they may be more lenient in pricing as compared to the same group wanting to stay from Monday to Wednesday when the hotel already anticipates a high occupancy. There is also an opportunity of getting a higher price from some segments as compared to others. If the product, location and the pitch resonates as a value to the customer, then corporate incentives, social, weddings may be willing to pay a higher price for the experience. Whereas government, associations, tour groups may have a budget or a per diem and therefore they may have a limit to pay. Now, pricing for long-term contracts. Long-term contracting business is ideal to build base occupancy. This helps the hotel get better stability from occupancy and price fluctuations that may take place between weekday, weekends and seasons. The pricing of such a segment could be highly subsidized due to the stable monthly billing coming out of guaranteed number of rooms. Such business could be airline crew layover, permanent residence of some guests who may be on a deputation in the city for a stipulated term, a block of rooms catering to travelers visiting a city on a project movement, a small working space contracted on a long-term basis. Now, this is best decided by the hotel sales and the revenue team based on what's their real need to be consistent market share gainer that the price of the business would be at. Now, there are tools available to gauge demand in the city to be able to fix on pricing. For example, there is a rate shopping tool which searches and represents the ongoing rates of competition hotels for future dates. Then there is a future demand monitoring tool which provides details on the occupancy competition hotels have for future dates, both in transient and group segments. This enables the hotel to gauge what kind of demand is cropping up in the city besides other things. There is STR to determine transient and group demands from the past periods of hotels in the competition set. The hotel's past occupancy and average rates in similar dates in the past are also a big decider for demand and pricing patterns. Then details of the city events calendar and auspicious social dates also helps get a sense on potential demand in the future dates. Most hotels have revenue management software that are programmed to provide indicative pricing based on all the above data. For those who do not have a software, they have to keep a track manually based on the same factors. So this concludes the part 3 series on market segmentation with some extra emphasis on wholesale business model. I hope it was useful.